light, Mrs. Harvey. It needs light. It lives on light.
I water it and everything, Henry.
Photosynthesis, Mrs. Harvey. It's a miracle of nature. Little photons come rocketing through the window and this greedy beast just gobbles them up.
Photons?
Light particles, little packages of life. Just keep those curtains open, Mrs. Harvey. Hello, Henry's garden. Yes? I'm with a customer at the moment.
Packages? Light comes in packages?
Yeah. A bit late for that now, isn't it? What about months ago when I was trying to be reasonable? Now, you listen to me, Morton. You want this place for your lousy development, you can have it, but you'll have to carry me out in a box.
Henry?
Stop me, Joe.
No, they can't.
There's nothing I can do. Morton's got me over a barrel.
Well, you can't just give up.
Yeah, I know, but I've been fighting him for months now. It's like I'm flogging a dead horse.
Well, I'll help you.
Thanks. What have you been doing? You're supposed to put the soil in the pots.
Well, I got most of it in.
You reckon? Come on, let's have a look.
Maybe we could give him a bit more time. Get him used to the idea. He might come around on his own accord. I mean, his family's had a business here for 50 years. Perhaps if we approached him in a different way, you know, more, friendly.
Friendly?
Yeah, up the offer a little. Give him a bit more time. Try and see it from his point.
I'm not in this business to be friendly. I'm in it to do things.
All I mean is...
Major development here. The whole damn thing's being held up by some tin pot little gardening business. You know what every day's delay costs me. You're getting soft, Cutler. Still holding out.
It won't do any good. We've given you council approval.
I can't afford any more delays. It's costing me a fortune.
Relax. Everything's taken care of.
You better be right. I've got a bad feeling about this. What's she doing?
Barring your development, I should have thought.
She's doing more than looking.
Probably a school project.
You know what they teach them these days? They're all junior left-wing pinko conservationists.
She's just a kid. What could she do?
Obviously, you haven't got any.
Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice your interest in this. Do you like it?
Not very much.
Oh. What's the matter with it?
Well, why do we need it?
Oh, I have to think of the future, you know. One day, this is going to be a very big city. Probably going to need more amenities.
And what about the people who get pushed aside when things like this happen?
Ah. Yes, well, I think you'll find that the people who've been inconvenienced have been properly compensated and offered every assistance.
Not everyone.
Well, sometimes we have to take a larger view. We have to weigh up the inconvenience of a few against the long-term needs of the community.
And who decides that?
We do. We are the council. That's what we're elected to do. Would you like a pamphlet for your project?
Well, isn't it your petitioners do humbly pray?
No, that's only for a petition for the government.
Will you write it then?
Oh, come on, Vanessa. Look, let's start at the beginning, okay? It'll need something catchy at the top, right?
Yeah. Well, what about save Henry's gun from progress?
Better still, save progress from Henry's garden.
Did you hear a voice? I thought I heard something.
Nope, I didn't hear a thing.
Luke, this is serious.
So why are you wasting your time with a petition?
Do you want to help or not?
No? Want to go to the beach?
Boys. I've got it!
Is it catching?
Get lost!
Come on, Vanessa.
Well, it's got to be simple, right?
Yeah.
So what's wrong with save Henry's garden? Full stop.
Save Henry's garden. Yeah, why not?
50 years of family business down the gurgle hole. That's what this is.
Henry, I've checked your lease a dozen times.
It might be legal, but it's not right.
Yeah, I know. My advice is just accept Morton's offer, Henry. You can start again somewhere else.
Whose side are you on, George? Don't you understand what this place means to me?
I am trying to be realistic.
Oh.
Look, you could go to court, they'll put your lease under the spotlight. You haven't got a snowball's chance.
All right, George, you made your point.
Let me know what you decide, OK? Hopeless.
Henry, look at this. Sorry I'm late.
Doesn't matter. Pretty soon there'll be nothing left to be late for.
Yeah, but we're doing this. What do you think?
It's all over, Joe. Morton's won. Even my lawyer's telling me to quit.
Henry, you can't give in yet. There's got to be a way.
What way?
Well, if we get enough signatures.
Signatures? The whole city could sign and it wouldn't make any
But we've
difference.
got to try. I don't believe it.
How many?
6. A lousy 6 in 2 whole hours.
How's it going, Joe?
Not so good, but it's still early. Excuse me. Would you like to sign a petition to stop Henry's garden being closed down?
Told ya. Oh, shut your face, brain death, and stop being clever. We need help here. Like what?
Well, we're running out of time, Steve.
Well, you want my opinion, which you probably won't. We've got to do something more radical, something to grab people's attention.
Gee, why don't I turn into Catwoman?
Yeah, Stephen, why don't you try turning into a human being? All right. If that's the way you want it. Forget it.
Morton, didn't he do that really ugly skyscraper development?
And that awful hotel.
You're taking on the big guns. Now, how'd your petition go?
Didn't.
No one was interested.
Well, the important thing is you tried. I'm proud of you both.
But that doesn't help Henry, does it?
Well, you can't win every time, Joe.
Hey, Mum, do you remember that book you did for the council?
The centenary one?
Well, wasn't there something in it about Henry's building?
What do you mean?
I just remember it being really old or something.
You read my book.
Of course I did.
You might be right. I'll check my notes if you like.
Don't ever tell Steve this, but I think he was right.
About what?
Well, we've got to think of something bigger.
Yeah.
But what? Why are you smiling?
Cover for me at school this morning.
What are you doing?
Please, Nessa, just an hour.
Well, what if they ask?
Just say I'm at the doctor's or I had to help my dad. Say anything.
Yeah, all right. But what are you up to?
I'll tell you later. Thanks.
Now, one thing that's always guaranteed to raise a few tempers and get a bit of discussion going is a new development. Now, the latest one is the proposed Morton Plaza down on the waterfront, and this one's upsetting a few people, and I have one of them in the studio with me this morning. Welcome, Joe Zandona. What's your objection?
Well, it's too big, it's ugly, and the bay doesn't need it. And it's destroying the character of the area.
Now, you're running a campaign to save Henry's Garden, one of the small businesses which would be displaced. Would you like to tell me about it?
Henry's family have been running a business there for a long time. He's a part of the area. People like him. I don't think it's fair to throw him out.
Some would say that people like you are opposed to any form of development. How would you respond to that?
It's not all development, just this one. Look, I know the area's a bit run down, but it must be possible to come up with something better.
OK, let's find out from developer Charles Morton his reaction to these objections. Are you there, Mr. Morton?
Good morning, Graham.
Mr. Morton, there appears to be some opposition to your project.
Look, if I listened to everyone who complained, I wouldn't build anything.
So the project is going ahead?
Of course it is, Graham. What you have to understand is that a project of this size is always going to attract criticism. Fair enough. But it has to be constructive.
What about Henry, who doesn't want to move aside to make way for your project?
We've made him a very reasonable offer. If he makes the right decision and relocates with our assistance, there won't be any problem.
But they're going to throw him out.
Look, we're not throwing anyone out. And Graham, there is a procedure in cases like this, and I can assure you we have followed it to the letter.
And that's where we'll leave it for the moment. Thank you both for your time.
Well, that was a bit easier than I thought.
Why?
You might bring up some of that heritage stuff.
Heritage?
You are grounded.
But, Dad, I had to do it. Henry's going to lose his business
So you decide to skip school and turn into the big media star, eh?
I had to let people know that it's not fair.
Look, what is it with you kids? You get some crazy idea in your head and off you go. And what about school? I mean, why do you think I send you to school?
It was just a couple of hours.
Oh, this week, yeah. But I let it go, and what happens next time?
I'm sorry.
Sorry? Yeah, well, tell me again in a week.
You did read it, didn't you?
You found something?
What on earth made you remember something like that?
What, Mum?
Well, Henry's is one of the original buildings in the port area.
See, I told you.
But for some reason, it never got heritage classification. I remember it was brought up a few years ago, but nothing happened.
I've got to tell Joe.
You've drowned it, Mrs. Harvey. This plant has been swimming.
But I opened the curtains
Good.
and I thought it's had all this light and it might need a bit more drink.
Once a week. A good soaking just once a week, not a drop more.
Thanks, Henry.
My pleasure, Mrs. H. Now remember, lots of light and water it just once a week.
What'll I do if you go, Henry? All my plants...
Don't you worry, Mrs. H. I haven't given up yet. Miracles can happen. You never know, one of your plants might survive more than a week. Ah, the vulture's return. What do you want?
You want to sell me one of these?
What for?
Thought I might grow it. You know, put it in the garden, see what happens.
I don't think you could afford one of those. Besides, I want them to go to good home.
Listen, Henry, I don't like this any more than you do.
Oh, sure.
I got a proposition you might be interested in.
You work for Morton.
For the moment.
Well, this is still my property. Get out of here.
Still want the plant, Henry?
Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Oh, it sounds good. Hey, looks good, eh?
Let's just get on with it. What time's this thing supposed to start?
What's the hurry? Think of all the publicity you're going to get out of this.
Where have you been?
Just tidying up a few loose
Well,
ends.
it took you long enough.
Come on, Henry.
I'm not moving. If I stay here for long enough, I might turn into a garden statue.
A lot of good that'll do you.
I think I could find true peace as an ornament.
No, you won't, because in a minute I'll push you off and you'll break.
You cruel child.
I'm counting to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, what are we doing?
That's better.
A city comes of age when it can look to the future with confidence. When we can clearly see that the decisions we make today will be understood and appreciated in the years to come. At the same time, of course, we mustn't forget our heritage. And I'm proud to say that my council also has an excellent record in that area. But the real reason we're here today is also history. Morton Plaza will take us into the next century.
We shall not be moved.
What's going on?
We shall not be moved.
Get the police!
Save Henry's garden! Save Henry's garden! Save Henry's garden!
Mum, Dad,
Save Henry's garden! Save Henry's garden! Save Henry's garden! Save Henry's garden! Save Henry's garden!
This is what you mean by publicity, is it?
In an unusual protest against the Morton Plaza project, a young girl, Jo Zandona, has chained herself to the council railings and says she won't move until the council allows Henry's garden to stay where it is.
Save Henry's garden! Save
Save Henry's garden!
You rolling? Mr. Mayor, any comment? Oh, this has been a very unfortunate incident. I'm sure there are proper channels for legitimate protest.
I understand there are plans for a legal challenge to the development.
Well, that's impossible. Well, the council's already given its approval.
Save Henry's garden!
Where's the key?
I threw it away. I've got a right to protest.
Not here, you haven't. We've had a complaint.
Save Henry's garden! Save Henry's garden! Save Henry's garden!
Excuse me, Sue Walker?
Yes,
My name's Cutler. You wrote a history about this area a couple of years ago, didn't you?
that's right.
I'm very interested in your research.
There you go. I'll just walk you over. Make sure you don't get into any more trouble between here and the front door.
Dad? Dad, I know I've been really silly.
It's supposed to make me feel better, is it? I ground you for skipping school and now you do this.
Dad, I had to. But I promise I won't do anything like this again, ever.
You won't? Oh, yes, you will. And you want to know how I can tell? Because you're my daughter. And you just don't know how to take no for an answer. That's how I know.
That's it. He said something the other day about heritage. I knew he had his finger in the pie.
Finger, he's got both hands.
He actually thought he could get away with it.
Get away with what?
Joe, this is Jeff Cutler, Joe Zandona.
Hello?
I heard your radio interview. You're a very determined girl.
Hold on, don't you work for Morton?
Yeah. People keep asking me that.
Probably because he's just such a popular guy.
Maybe. Look, I know this sounds crazy, but I really don't want this thing to go through.
I don't get it. Look, you work for Morton and you're trying to stop the development?
Yeah, I understand completely if you're suspicious. In your shoes, I would be too, but
Yes.
maybe we should start at the beginning.
Hey! Stop that!
Stop what?
What are you doing?
What does it look like?
Looks to me very much like a fence.
He's a genius.
You two go down and see what's happening. And tell Henry we'll be there as soon as we can, okay?
Right, that's far enough.
Look, mate, we're just doing our job.
And I'm doing mine.
Come on, be reasonable. If you want to complain, go do it to someone else. Look, it's not our fault. We're just doing what we've been told.
No.
You want to move him?
Don't you touch me.
We're not moving either.
All right, Charlie, let's get on the phone.
Who are you?
Steve.
Luke.
Thanks.
Don't do anything until I get there. Yeah, right. Yeah, give me the mayor. I don't care if he's on the phone to the Queen. Just get him. I want you off this property in 5 minutes or I call the police.
Call them.
I want you out of here now.
No.
What's going on? What are you going to do about this?
Well, it's not my problem.
You want to bet? You gave me approval for this, now fix it.
Look, I'll go into the council and...
You're not going anywhere.
I can probably throw some light on the situation. I have here an injunction preventing further work on this project, pending the investigation of certain irregularities in the zoning and classification of this building and the surrounding land.
Come again?
You're sunk, Morton.
What are you talking about? Look, I've got approval for this. Tell her. Well, that's what you were paid for.
This warehouse was built in 1863 and cannot be pulled down without an inquiry.
Well, who's moving now, Morton?
Let me assure you this will be investigated immediately. I will set up a special committee to look
I've got a bone to
into
pick with
this
you.
matter, and we are going to...
I don't care. Just shut up. Shut up. Incredible. Extraordinary. Unbelievable. Where is she? Joe, where are you? I give you my good friend Joe, who wouldn't give up. 3 cheers for Joe. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip.
The public presentation of Cutler Development's first project. And you, Henry, are right here.
So I don't get bulldozed?
No, you're right smack in the middle of it.
What do you think, Joe?
Looks really good, but you're going to have to do this place up a bit.
What do you like with a paintbrush?
No, you don't.
And Morton faces the business tribunal next week.
Yes, I hear there's an election coming up for mayor.
How about it, Henry? I could run the campaign for you. Henry for mayor.
No, you don't.
Look at this. I had to show you.
What's wrong with it?
Nothing. It's growing. It's actually growing. See, there's a new leaf here and here.
It's a miracle, Mrs. H. A miracle.